What's going on, y'all? This is BoxingWave here to speak about the middleweight division. I was just watching the David Lemieux fight against Fernando Guerrero. Good fight. David Lemieux looked very impressive. He beat Fernando Guerrero a lot more impressive than I remember Peter Quillen beating him. Okay. Um, you know, I'm a little frustrated with the middleweight division because it seems like no one is fighting each other. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent. At least the junior middleweight division, a lot of fighters are starting to get into the mix with each other. You got Canelo fighting Lara coming up. Canelo beat Angulo. He fought Trout. Lara fought a lot of people in the division already. There's a lot going on, but on the middleweight division, it seems like none of the champions are fighting each other, and the champions are not even fighting a lot of the top guys in the division. Now, if you want to blame it on ducking or whatever, you could blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. But the fact still remains that the fights are not being made. Okay, and it's funny because you can't really blame the Cold War because a lot of these fighters can fight on either network. A lot of these fighters are not Golden Boy and they're not top rank. You can't blame it solely on the Cold War like you can a lot of fights for the welterweight division or the junior middleweight division. A lot of these guys are on different, they have different promoters. The fights are just not being made. Uh, Peter Quillen, I don't know what's going on. He's not fighting or not scheduled to seem to be fighting neither champion you got Sergio Martinez, who's fighting Miguel Cotto, a guy that's not even at 160. Peter Quillen, I don't know who he's fighting next. We know a lot of people want to see the Daniel Jacobs fight, and he doesn't seem to be that interested in fighting him or Curtis Stevens. Okay. Then you got Sergio Martinez. Like I said, he's fighting Cotto, but at least Sergio Martinez at least beat a lot of the guys that's in the division. Then you got Golovkin. It seems like a lot of fighters don't want to fight him, but at the same time, the fights are still not being made. Whatever reason you want to blame it on, he was supposed to fight Chavez, and that fight was canceled. Uh, then you got a lot of the guys that has lost to either Sergio Martinez or lost to like guys that are not champions, or you have the Matthew Macklins, you have the Martin Murrays, Daniel Gill, Darren Barker, who just lost to Felix Sturm. You got Felix Sturm, you got Marco Antonio Rubio, you got who else is in the division? I'm trying to think who else. There's a lot of guys in the division, and you know Matthew Macklin was just supposed to fight Daniel Gill. That fight was canceled. But that fight is the importance of that fight is not much importance because we seen Daniel Gill lose to Darren Barker not last year. Darren Barker just lost to Felix Sturm. Matthew Macklin lost to Golovkin, and he's lost to I'm trying to think. I can't remember. There's so many fights that have been made already, and it seems like the guys that are good fighters, but they're not champions. It seems like these guys are just fighting each other over and over, and they're just mixing it up. But no one is fighting Golovkin. No one is really fighting Peter Quillen. And Sergio Martinez is at this point in his career where, he's close to retirement, and he just wants a big, huge fight, which he deserves. He deserves a big payday because he's put in his work, So I'm just a little frustrated because it's like the middleweight division, like I said, the fights are just not being made, and these guys that are champions, there are plenty of fighters to fight out there, yet they're fighting guys that I never heard of before. We never heard of. They're just random fighters, Peter Quillen fought Gabriel Rosado, a guy that just came to the middleweight division to fight Golovkin. A guy that is not even a true 160 pounder, a middleweight fighter. A guy that is a junior middleweight that moved up to fight Golovkin when there's plenty of competition at the middleweight division already. He fought Quillen and he fought Golovkin. You know, why is it? Why are these guys fighting 154 pounders? You know, instead of fighting all of the other the talent that's in their division. You know, or either that or moving up. You know, we know Chavez already moved up. I mean, he's beaten some of these guys that I mentioned already, but he's moved up now, and the fight was canceled between him and Triple G. So it's just what's going on. It's like so many guys, so many fighters that have either undefeated or have 1 or 2 losses, not, you know, that are really relevant. Like there's a lot of relevant fighters at the middleweight division, and none of them are fighting each other. You know, you got 3 champions, none of them are fighting each other, and you got a lot of relevant fighters, yet the champions are not fighting any of those guys, and it's really frustrating, you know. And you can't but blame it on. It seems like the promoters are just protecting, and there's so many, you know. There's a lot of, like I said earlier, you can't blame it on Golden Boy and Top Rank. A lot of these guys are on neither, you know. So anyway, I just want to see more fights made in the middleweight division. There's so much talent there, and a lot of these guys could easily move up. You know, a lot of these guys walk around at 180 when they're not fighting. A lot of these guys can easily get fights at 168. Instead, they're fighting guys at the junior middleweight division, you know, instead. So I just want to see more fights. There's a lot of guys at middleweight. I'm sure there's guys that I forgot the name just now, but I'm trying to think off the top of the head, you know. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, and let me know what fights you want to see at the middleweight division. You know, just name a few if you can. Name 5, 10. Just give me a complete list of guys that you would like to see fight at the middleweight division, because no one is fighting each other, in my opinion. All of the fights, I mean, Macklin and Gill just got canceled again, you know. Barker seems to be retiring. You know, I don't know who Felix Sturm is fighting next. You know, I don't know who Daniel Jacobs is fighting. I don't know who Curtis Stevens is fighting. What is going on with these guys, man? And a lot of these guys have nothing to do with the Cold War. So let me know. Give me a list of fighters or fights that you want to see in the middleweight division, and you know, I'll respond to the comments like I usually do. And if anything, just subscribe to the channel and hit me up on my Twitter account. All right, peace.